Good morning, garden friends, and welcome to my rose alley, or rose alley in English. This garden has been 3 years in the making, and this year it's really coming together. I have all kinds of roses. I have ramblers, I have vintage roses, I have shrub roses, I have climbing roses, I have David Austin roses, and then amongst them I plant other perennials, bulbs, and other things so that there's color continuously through them. I don't just plant roses. And as you can see, it is really beautiful this time of year. This is the first week of June, and this is when it's at its height. But it will bloom throughout the summer, and each month, about the first of the month, I will do another video like this so we can see how it transitions during that time. So I'm going to bring you along, bring you some close-ups and tell you what roses I have here in this garden. I will also provide a clip of how this started and looked year after year. So let's get rolling. If you're new here, my name is Pam, and I garden in the mountains of Northern California. I am a Zone 8B, yet I have a very short growing season and some real tough conditions to contend with. So come on along on my garden journey. Good morning, flower friends. We are in the side garden this morning, and I wanted to show you, this is the before, of what it looks like. This is where my rose alley is going. It's going to lead down to the Primrose Cottage, my studio cottage. And so yes, the rose alley in all its glory. Can you just imagine the scent here? The scent is glorious. I have this rose. Normally I don't let it go so crazy across this wall. It was just going up this post over here. And this year I thought I'd try something different. Number one, I did not prune back my Warsaw Nike clematis hard like I normally do. And this is just a wall of purple. I thought I'll do something a little different. And I'm not sure which one I like better, but it's nice to try new things. This is Crown Princess Margareta, David Austin rose. It is a shrub rose. This is not a climbing rose. David Austin roses, the shrub roses here in the US, will act as climbers. In fact, on their website, any rose they have listed as a climber really is just one of their shrub roses, but they're letting you know that it will climb. So you don't have to buy two different ones on the website. Also, Heirloom Roses carry some of the David Austin roses and their own root. That's the ones I prefer. David Austin, the site, used to carry own root, but I've noticed recently I haven't been able to find own root roses there. So I'll get them from Heirloom Roses or other places that do grow own root. Now this one is a vintage rose. This one was from my grandparents' farmyard, the red. And I absolutely love this. I call it my Grandpa Newt rose. Now I do love the hardy geraniums with my roses. This one is Biokovo or Bokiovo. I need to look it up. I'll put the name across the screen. And they act as a great ground cover and weed preventer. My irises are in here. Look at this is my Queen of Sweden David Austin rose. And I need to tie it up. It's leaning towards the sun. Because we have tall trees surrounding our property, the sun usually comes at an angle. And everything reaches for it. Look at this is Safari. I am absolutely in love with this rose. I think it's one that stays shorter, which is great for this area because behind it is the Warsaw Nike. This is going to move. I don't like this color with this one. That's Jupiter's Beard. I would rather have something maybe white in there. I do have a white Jupiter's Beard, but just get a load of Crown Princess Margareta. Now, when it's bright and sunny, the blooms fade to more of a yellow, but in the shady spots, they stay more of an apricot, which is what I bought it for. I didn't realize it faded out. Look at this, this little beauty is Ballerina, and I have it starting to climb up here. I did go ahead and train up Crown Princess Margareta, this cane, to go over the arbor because the other rose down in there is not quite big enough yet. And so there is another rose going to be going up that one. I have to say the Nepeta, these are cat's pajamas along here, and they are doing fantastic. This is the time of year when they look their best. Once they're done blooming, I will trim them back. They do reflush, but they always seem to be at their best in the first bloom. So you can see daisies coming up. Look at here, look at this. Zephyrine Druin Rose. It is at its peak of bloom. I've already been deadheading, so it will rebloom, but right now it's at its best. Now here is where I'm going to do another trellis, like what Zephyrine is on, and then Dreamweaver back there. Jasmina, right there, it needs the support, and it will also climb up to the eave, and that's the plan there. So, just gorgeous. This one is Rural England. Now, I had seen this rose on a British garden show, but it was a much larger rose. So that one there must be a different rose. But this one is still delightful. It has these little pink blossoms, and it's filled with them. It does bloom all summer long. I failed to mention back there with Jasmina is Joanne's Pink Perpetual, which is a vintage rose. I do enjoy vintage roses. Number one, you can take cuttings legally. You're not infringing on anyone's patent. The paludism daisies are not open right now, but they have been one of the best things to my mind that I added this year. I don't think they're perennial in my zone, but they're supposed to reseed very well. This is Jubilee Celebration, David Austin Rose. It's gonna be blooming. This thing does bloom all summer with proper care and deadheading. Look at that. That's one of the delightful things about it. Now my Eden rose, this was supposed to be pretty in pink Eden. It's not, it's regular Eden. And it's not what I wanted here. So this rose will probably get moved, and I'll put something else here. Planted with it on this side is Albertine, which is a vintage one-time bloomer, and you can see the difference in the shape of the bloom. See, this is Albertine, and then this is Eden. So they're both blooming at the same time. I had put Albertine here because in the past, when I've had it, it was the first to bloom, and it bloomed before any of the roses. But this year it didn't. It bloomed right alongside with them. Sunblaze roses. If you live in a place that's hot, these are magnificent. This one was my first acquisition. I got this like on the Lowe's bargain rack. I'd never heard of Sunblaze roses before. And yeah, I picked it up, decided to give it a try. Love it. They're miniature rose. They stay small and bloom nonstop all summer long through the heat. And this one is one I looked for forever this last summer and finally found it. And I absolutely love it. This one is Dragon Fruit. So I will be removing many of these irises around it soon. They're almost done blooming, so as soon as they're done, I will remove them. I have several of this color around other parts of the garden. Forgive the background noise. We've got lots of noise going on this morning. The foxgloves are all free-seeded, meaning they reseeded themselves. And look at that. I love the irises in here. They really bring a lot of color before anything else is blooming. Here, look at this, my blue star creeper. I have a video on ground covers that you can use instead of mulch, and this is one of them. And yeah, I have a whole list. All of the ones I listed are steppable, meaning they can take some light traffic, perfect between stepping stones, and they don't get tall. There are ground cover type plants that get taller, and they're not meant to be used during stepping stone, between stones or in pathways. And the ones I listed were all the shorter growing ones for being steppable. So I do have room for more roses. Back there I have some, but right in here I have room. This is Love Song. It's a beautiful lavender rose. It took a beating with the last late freeze, so I need to pamper it a little more. That one is in a barrel. I may remove it from the barrel because it seems all my roses do better in the ground as long as I give them gopher cages. The gophers is what was eating a lot of mine, and I thought they would do better in the barrels. But I'm finding that they do better in the ground, and that one needs to be moved. Probably this fall. I may wait till fall. I never know. I'm always changing my mind. Now this one has been such a delight. This is Gertrude Jekyll. And look at that. Look at that color and that bloom. Just absolutely breathtaking. And the scent, Gertrude Jekyll is one of the David Austin roses that is very highly scented. Let me get up here. Oh yeah, the classic rose scent. Just amazing. Next to it is another favorite. This is Quicksilver. This is a Cortez Arbor Rose selection, and it also blooms nonstop all summer. Forgive the less than perfect looking bloom there. The rose weevils have been really bad. I've been out trying to capture them. I put them in, they perforate the blooms and they lay their eggs in there. So when I deadhead, I make sure I dispose of them. I don't let them fall to the ground. And when I go through, I don't know if we'll see one today, but you see what it does. This is Constant Spry. She's a rambler, I do believe. Is it a rambler? But I know it's a one-time bloomer, and she's just so delicate and beautiful. You can see some of the blooms around there. I'm having her grow up this obelisk. I will put another climber with her that will bloom during the summer, and they can share that obelisk. So I'll have constant bloom there. So I love phlox in with my roses. This is some lupin, the Jupiter's beard, Shasta daisy, my Bosco Bell roses. I just put them in the ground. They were in a barrel. I didn't have gopher cages, so I planted them without it. I'm hoping the gophers do leave them alone. Look at here. This is New Dawn. I was making sure that wasn't a beetle crawling on there. New Dawn. She seems to be a little bit later blooming than the rest of them, but that's okay. Look at my Tess roses. Isn't that thing gorgeous? That's another one that was a shrub. It was not a climber or listed as a climber, but you can train them as climbers. You know what? I missed something on the other side. I'm backing up slowly, trying to. So over here, oh, look at that iris. Isn't that thing fantastic? More of the foxgloves that seeded themselves. There is another clematis back there that's climbing up with the Zephyrin Druin Rose. That's a Warsaw Nike also, which is the same as the one down with Crown Princess Margareta. Now this here with the Rural England Rose on this edge is Awakening. This is a sport of New Dawn, but it blooms more and it holds on to its flowers. My one protest or dislike of New Dawn is it falls apart very quickly and is very messy, but I don't mind it here. when it was up on my front walkway, I did not like that attribute. So I decided to put it down here where I wouldn't mind. Now look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is Dreamweaver. And I have a trellis just like I do the Zephyrine Druin. And this one, Zephyrine has the big bloom in June, and then it kind of just has sporadic blooms through the summer. Dreamweaver blooms like this all summer long. And look at this Bell of Walking Clematis. Yep, it is also all the way to the top. And I have a vine coming here, and I need to train it. I have a wire up there to train it across. So here is, down here, my Abraham Darby rose, which is in a container back there, which I was going to move, but it seems to be doing so well. I'm going to train it to go up this arbor. And this is my Madame Alfred Carriere, which is a heavy June bloomer, will bloom for a few weeks, and then it doesn't bloom as well through the summer. So that's where Abraham Darby will take over and be a little bright light. I just got to make sure I have good irrigation to it being in the pot. I have a feeling the roots went through the bottom of the pot though. Look at this, my Tess Rose is just doing fantastic. It is in a barrel, so I have to be very careful to keep it watered, but it's those big wine barrels. And here's my other one. Isn't that just tremendous? I love it. This one got a hard prune. Something happened to it, and this fall I really hard pruned it. That's why it's not as full as the other one. But look at this. This one's my grandmother's hat. This is a vintage rose as well. And down here is John Davies, a climber. I want it to climb up this trellis. Now this one isn't as pretty. This one was kind of an edge piece. So once it's covered, it won't matter. But right now it's just not the prettiest thing. So I picked up another Sun Blaze. This one is Bridal something. I have the tags. Anyways, it's the white one. And down here is the John Davies Climber. And I don't remember what that one is. There's another one, 2 roses in there. Oh, look at my Abraham Darby. Isn't that thing just gorgeous? Now, one thing with many of David Austin roses, and there's another big bloom, is depending on the temperature and the amount of sunlight, they can change colors. For somebody, Abraham Darby, other people, Abraham Darby would be more pink and less apricot. And yeah, I've noticed that. This hollyhock's gonna go. It wasn't supposed to be there. It's a self-seeder. And look at this, iris is still doing great. This is one of the first blooming irises I have, and it's still going. Now, we had very cool weather, and then all of a sudden it turned hot. So my irises didn't bloom as long as they would have if it would have stayed cooler. And so, but that's okay. Every year is different. It was better than the year when they got froze, and I didn't get any blooms because the blooms got froze off. Look at this peony. This peony's going to be opening up today. Yeah, look at that orange iris. Isn't that gorgeous? Constant Spry is doing beautiful. I need to wrap her around the obelisk better because it'll get me more blooms, because it'll send out more canes that will bloom. They always want to bloom at the top of a cane. So if you bend it sideways, at least 45-degree angle, and wrap it around, then it'll send out more laterals and then bloom even more. I do the same on my arbors. I try to train the roses when they're young and pliable so that I can get more blooms. Look at another beautiful peony. This one is beautiful. Look at that. It's got the little hint of yellow in it. This thing is massive bloom. Massive. And here's another bowl of beauty. I shouldn't say another. You haven't seen the one out front. I was doing the front video and I was showing my bowl of beauty there. This thing is always so filled with gorgeous blooms. Now, my tiny monster hardy geranium. Look at that, just full of, I don't know why that's there, flowers. Makes a great edging. This one's starting to flop, so I need to put a support. You see how that little support there? It kind of disappears, but they will flop unless you give them support, the ones that get taller. So, yep, here is my paniculata hydrangea. I need to continue deadheading it. I got doing that and then got called away, so it's not finished. So yeah. So I'm really on the roadside of Rose Alley, and as you drive up to my house, I'm on the road now. This is what you see. Sorry for the background noise. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Whoops. Now these roses down in here, I have one called Nearly Wild. The rose weevils really did a number on it. You can see the perforations there, but a lot of the buds, you can see the bud right there hanging over. It'll just kill them outright. And so I have to come in here and deadhead thoroughly. They seem to really love this rose, so I really keep an eye on it. And yesterday I was deadheading a lot of the buds that were dead. And so this thing would have been full of blooms if it hadn't been ravaged by the rose weevils. So from over here you can see the love song rose there. So I need to prop that up. That's a beautiful lavender. I love that rose. It's not perfect. There's lots of tweaking I need to do. Like I need to tie down the canes, going wild hair there. But I am enjoying my Rose Alley so much. It is just tremendous. And I'm going to, see, I have one of my test roses here. And then I'm going to carry some roses back all the way up here. So there's no rose in here. There is my Lady of Shalott, and it needs to be deadheaded. But I think carrying the rose theme up this side as well will be perfect. So I've got roses I can put in here, and then up here, these are self-seeded hollyhocks. I do have a butterfly bush here. I was trying to move it. It is so deeply rooted that I couldn't do it on my own, so I'm going to have help. But the idea is to dig that up, and I want more roses coming up here. I have more obelisks, and yeah, so I want the rose theme carried up. Now I do have roses up here, as you can see, and I just think that would be pretty to carry the rose theme on up. And here's another rose here. So I have some in here, and I'm just going to put more. So I hope you like that idea too. Now I have a tough time. I shouldn't say tough time. I have a challenging time with roses because of our springs. We can have a warm few weeks, everything starts budding out, and then we get some hard freezes. And that can set my roses back. This year that didn't happen, thankfully, but many years it does. And therefore I have to wait a little bit longer for a bloom. Now there are roses now that I'm searching out that are more cold hardy. The Cortez Arbor Rose series, they are some of those roses. Now I noticed some of my David Austins are very sensitive to the cold. So when you go to their site, if you have conditions like mine where you can have very cold periods, they do have some listed that are hardier in the cold. I've noticed my Olivia Rose Austin is one that is very sensitive to the cold. It's up in the front garden, entrance garden. And so I have to be real careful with that one. And others just fly through it, no problem. So that's it, my friends. That's my talk through my Rose Alley at this peak time of year. And I'm just so pleased with how it has turned out. I do have to keep things deadheaded, like you see some roses up there. I'll get my ladder out and deadhead them, and that means ensures more bloom through the season. So, oh, I did want to mention, I did transplant my Hyde Hall roses in here. They're still getting used to it. The Hyde Halls can get up to 6 feet tall, so they would make a great hedge here. There's 3 of them in there. We'll see how they go. So that's the plan there. They're a beautiful pink, upright, and tough. So we'll see how that works. As long as the gophers leave them alone. Alrighty. So I hope you enjoyed a tour of Rose Alley, and all that's going on there. If you have any suggestions for things to put in that area that would work well, I'm open. I'm all ears. And if you have any roses, climbing or otherwise, that you find that are very tough and do well for you, please do tell me too, because I've got more areas to put some roses. Roses are something that is just dear to my heart. And even though I have a challenging time with them and grow organically, which can sometimes make it even more challenging to keep them free of black spot and powdery mildew. And I have to admit, I don't keep them free of those things, but I keep them healthy enough that they can combat it. And usually the black spot only arrives in spring. Through the summer, it's gone away. I remove the leaves, all of that. I know other people may have a tougher time with that because of their climate. If you have a real humid climate, some roses will just, they're more susceptible. So you have to hunt out roses that aren't as susceptible in your area. So that's my little spiel on my roses and my rose alley. So I hope you enjoyed this video and come on back for another garden tour, where there's be the interest garden, the secret garden. Secret garden's in a lot of turmoil right now for all the things we're changing back there, but that's okay. You can still see what it's like. And I love journaling the journey of the gardens when they're being transformed. So come on back for that.